Oh, you thought getting in was the hard part. We're just getting started. UNC. Some say it stands for the University of National Champions. I think it stands for University of No Chance You're Ever Gonna Sleep Again. I am back with yet another college video. I was very surprised by the reception and how many people messaged me and commented about helpful advice and questions, which I absolutely loved. I'm literally just ranting to the camera, so I'm glad that it was kind of coherent and brought people comfort. I have moved to a different part of campus. This is Coker Arborarium. I don't know how to say it. But yeah, I am back with a part 2. This time I'm doing UNC specific questions. So I'm gonna divide this video up into like random sections with topics I think are the most important things you need to know before you start your fall semester at UNC. It is also the last week of classes this semester, which also means it's the last week of class ever for me as a UNC student. I am not ready to leave. Whatever, we're gonna move on before I start like panicking. First things first, let's talk about dorms. So when it comes to dorms, you are gonna probably be placed in the South Campus like first year experience, I think that's what they call it, where the main dorms are gonna be Hojo, Hinton James, Craig, Ehringhaus, E-House, and then I'm pretty sure Corey is one of the ones that you could also get put in. If you get put into Corey, I'm gonna say right here, right now, you must have like the goddess of luck on your side because that dorm is freaking nice. And then you also do have the chance to go live in North Campus, which is where this area is. The main thing you should know about dorms is the style. So you have the freshman dorms all on South Campus. Those main 3 big dorms, Hojo, E-House, and Craig, are all a similar design. They're built in this X shape essentially, and then you will be put into a suite with 7 other people. So each suite has 8 people, 4 rooms, 2 per person, and then you share a bathroom. And honestly, like, I'm so glad they made it that style because suite style is just so much nicer in my opinion than living in a hall style dorm where it's like you and 30, 40 other people share one bathroom where you're all like taking a piss at the same time. So suite style is what is gonna build up the bulk of those 3 main dorms. When it comes to like picking your dorm, you have to fill out the survey, you have to pick like which style you want in your location. Some people prefer the hall style dorms in North Campus because it is closer to classes. A lot of people just wake up and walk to class all in like 10 minutes versus the South Campus dorms, which are so far away from everything. The transportation from South Campus is also slightly limited. Those buses, oh my god, we'll get there. I had like a huge tangent about this in my last video. Expect to do a lot of walking and make sure that you set your alarm and use it. I say that because I know some of you won't. I love living on South Campus. Despite my complaints about how old and dusty and poorly ventilated those dorms are, I will say the best thing about it is the fact that you are put with other freshmen, so you make so many friends. I loved my suite so much. We were all just a bunch of girls who found our own roommates, and then we ended up like asking to like be paired together. Worked out perfectly. We also had an RA in our suite, which some people really had bad experiences, but RA was super chill. Like, she made us muffins and like left them in the hallway for us. I really liked it. Those bathrooms are clean for you, so you don't need to bring any bathroom supplies unless you want to, I guess. Some girl at like my friend's suite brought like poopery, and I'm just like, bitch, do you think we're in the Ritz-Carlton? But anyways, like, if I could offer you any advice about the things you should bring into those dorms, bring a freaking humidifier. It's super dry yet so moldy. Like, I just don't know how that like makes any sense. Bring some lights, bring some decorations. It's like a cement room. It very much is built kind of like a prison cell. As long as you have like the ability to spruce it up, want to like move your beds and make it like big and lofty, like you can definitely make it homey. I really like my experience, other than the fact that I got horrendously sick for like a third of the year because of the poor ventilation, but super worth it. Now, aside from dorms, which I feel like is pretty self-explanatory, what isn't explained very well and took me freaking like 2 years to really understand what the hell was going on is class registration. That is one thing I will not be missing at my time at Carolina. It is hell It's like the Hunger Games. If you think you have a friend, you don't have any friends when it comes to class registration. It is you against the system, and the system always fucking wins. Like, you wanna know who's gonna win between you and one red square that is like crushing your hopes and dreams? The square will win. Here's the basic premise of how class schedules work. Every single student at UNC in their undergraduate career is required to graduate with at least 120 credit hours. What are credit hours? Credit hours are essentially just like how many hours you get per class. I don't actually know what credit hours are. The average amount of credit hours every class has is 3. And more than likely, if you've taken any AP classes and you've gotten like a 4 or 5 on those exams, if you're coming from an IB program or wherever you come from, it's likely you already came in with a couple of credit hours. I didn't come in with that many because I didn't take anything seriously in high school. So when you go and you sign up for classes or you're trying to put stuff into your shopping cart on Connect Carolina, which also, okay, that site is built like those kids from Cyber Chase, like made it in 2 minutes and they were like, okay, this was done in 1905. There was an internet in 1905. What the fuck am I talking about? So most classes will have 3 credit hours, which if you divide it and you do the math between the semesters and 4 years, it means basically you have to take 15 credit hours per semester to graduate on time. The minimal amount of credit hours you can take every semester to be considered a full-time student is 12, so 4 classes that semester. The most you can take, and you have to get special permission to do this, and it's considered like overloading, is 18 credit hours, and that is there are also a couple of exceptions. So when you go and you're looking at classes, you're gonna see most of them are divided between the Tuesday, Thursday classes. Those are slightly longer. And then you have like those big lecture style classes, which tend to be Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. They're shorter in time frame, but they also often include registration. They also include recitation. I would say as a freshman, you're gonna have to expect to be in like a decent amount of lecture, giant hall style classes. Expect to feel like a speck of dust. Every single one of those classes has TAs and recitations that are meant to be like weekly study groups essentially, and they're helpful. There are also some classes where they will give you like a different amount of credit hours. So the way you plan out your schedule doesn't necessarily have to meet that 15 per semester curriculum. Like, it's totally up to you. You can underload, overload. It doesn't really matter as long as you like are keeping up with your worksheet and tracking the amount of hours you have. Now, when we're talking about the actual registration process, which is hell on earth, is like the best way I can put it. You are gonna need like certain tools to help you plan out what you need. First off, I would say Coursical. Everybody uses Coursical. It's just nice to kind of like see a visual of what your schedule could look like. Check those times, check those professors, and check the locations of the building. Because let me tell you, if you think you're gonna be able to take back-to-back classes, but the first class is at Haynes Art Center, and then all of a sudden you have to be at the business school, you're not gonna make it unless you can teleport or you feel like you can run and like lose a limb in the process and be okay with it. I mean, go for it. I would advise against it. I would also use Grade Today. Grade Today basically gives you like the median score of specific classes with specific professors from the past, so you can kind of see like where people tend to get an average grade and what to kind of expect in terms of just like the difficulty. Rate My Professor, of course, make sure you check that. There are also lots of Facebook groups that you can join as like a freshman. There's literally a Facebook group for everything, so use those to your benefit. Now when it comes to actually registering, you're gonna be given a time. Something that you freshmen need to understand, you will be given the last day to register. You will be given terrible times. That's just how it is, and I really like don't have any advice for it other than like suck it up. Like, I like hate to break it to you, but there's nothing you can really do. You will sometimes get amazing times and sometimes you will get awful times. Can't control it. You are here for 8 semesters, so best of luck in the future. So what should you do the day you register for classes? Well, don't wake up 2 hours before your time. I don't know why people do that. If you are scheduled to register for classes at 11,
what makes you think the people at 9 a.m. didn't already take your spot?
Wake up like 30 minutes beforehand, sit down, do not panic. I cannot emphasize enough, do not panic. I panicked, don't panic. It's not good for your mental health and it's just gonna psych you out. Just wait, refresh it casually, and when it's like 5 minutes before your time, that's when you should really buckle down, have your pointer, your mouse, or wherever the hell it's called, and get ready to start clicking. And a great tip my orientation leader told me When you are given your time and you're getting ready to press that enroll button, use the world clock time, not your phone time. What I mean is just literally type in world clock into Google and then click it, and it will show you the exact like millisecond countdown. That's the clock that the system for Connect Carolina uses. So when you're looking at that clock, wait until it's literally just about to turn to exactly your time. That's when you click enroll. That will give you like an advantage because you're working just with the actual system. But now that I've told like hundreds of people on the internet, I'm kind of wondering if this was counterproductive. Well, best of luck. But when you do register for classes, like I would also emphasize the fact that like sometimes you can just like loiter and bother professors into getting into the class. Now, I'm not saying you should harass them, okay? That's very different. But there are like some big lecture classes where if you just like show up on the first day and they have empty seats because some students didn't show up, they might just give it to you. Make sure you just kind of like linger and let them know like you really want to get in, and they sometimes will let you get into the class. Will it always work? Definitely not. But is it worth trying? Yes, it totally is. Next, we have transportation. First things first that you should know about the bus system. People are gonna toss out like 7 trillion apps for you to use to track the buses. None of them work. The buses are never on time. Don't expect to wait there and for it to show up on the dot. This is not a Japan bullets train. This is a public bus system, and those bus drivers are tired and they're being overworked, okay? So have some patience. Probably leave a little earlier than you planned if you want to take the bus, and just wait. The main buses that you should know when you are living on South Campus is the RU and the U. The RU and the U basically take like similar routes in circles around campus, but just in opposite directions. And I think it's super important because if you're trying to go to Franklin Street first, you should probably take the U because it will go clockwise and up to Franklin and back down. And the U is the bus you'll probably take when you're coming back down to the dorms, and it stops right in front of Hojo. It loops down to the business school and back up this giant hill, and it also stops near what the hell is that place called? It stops near the parking lot of Kenan Flagler, the business school, and the Dean Dome. The RU does the opposite. The RU stops by E-House and goes counterclockwise through the other mid-campus dorms and cuts through the main classes near Davis Library, and that's the one you're probably gonna end up taking in the morning if you're trying to take the bus to go to class. Now, if you're a freshman, you probably already know this, but you can't bring a car on campus. To be honest though, I don't think you need it. Like, I really don't. I barely like left campus my freshman year, and I kind of preferred it that way because all the people you want to meet, all the events you want to attend, all the like parties you want to do and stuff will be on campus. And when you do get the chance to start parking on campus, also expect another Hunger Games for parking spots, because this university doesn't care about the fact that they're using your money for sports and taking care of their lawns rather than actually providing the things their students need. Now that I got that out of my system, when you go and do the parking lottery, once again, people are gonna like fight to the death to get Stadium Drive. Stadium Drive is overrated. I don't know why people are so obsessed with Stadium, like those buses aren't ready to crush you and your car every time you like leave your car there, but that's just my like personal opinion. So in all, transportation your freshman year, like take the buses and just walk. There's like a Target on campus if you really need to get groceries. Most of the stuff on campus though, I will say, is overpriced, which leads me to my next topic. Money, especially when it comes to dining plans. Having money for food was my #1 concern my freshman year, and I got the 2nd tier dining plan. I think it's 120 meal swipes, and also within your package you get plus swipes, which gives you those lunch combo meals that like Satar and Chick-fil-A and Med Deli, which is a godsend. So use that, and honestly, it is a steal. You would not believe how much freaking Chick-fil-A I had my first semester. If you were trying to decide which meal plan to get the mid-range ones, and
don't get the unlimited.
I will tell you right here, right now, that you really don't need the unlimited plan. Unless you think you're gonna eat $20 worth of food every single time you go into the dining hall, and you're going into the dining hall like 5 times a day, it's like not really worth your money. People get worried about like the 100 and say that there's not enough swipes. Steal food. I probably shouldn't be promoting that, but steal it. Like, no one cares if you take a banana. If you get in like horrific trouble over a banana, that is a whole nother issue within itself. And there are 2 main dining halls. There's one called Chase Dining Hall, whatever. They rebranded, new girl boss and whatever. There's Rams Dining Hall, and then there's also Lenore. Lenoir is better. I don't care what anybody else says. Lenoir is where like the Chick-fil-A is. That's where the Subway used to be. There's also Merritt's. Like all the good food is up in Lenoir, but Rams has something that is undeniably amazing, and that's called late night. I know so many people who refuse to go because they were like, oh, it's just breakfast food at 11 p.m. Who cares? No, I care, okay? Those omelets, let me tell you, nothing hits more than having an omelet and then eating like 2 bowls of Cinnamon Toast Crunch at like 12, okay? Especially on a Wednesday night
when you should be studying.
There's like an ambiance about doing something that you really shouldn't be doing, but then like it feels so good in the moment. I'm gonna stop talking there. I don't know where I'm going with that. Taken out of context. But yeah, meal plans, don't get the unlimited one. Just choose the one that works best for you, and always allocate backup money. When it comes to finances, I like try not to talk too much about finances with like my classmates because I feel like that's rude. You don't know someone else's financial situation, but I would always keep some money on hand for something that might happen. Maybe you like, oh, there's a bug. Okay, anyways. Always have some backup money on hand just because like you never know what's gonna happen. Random disasters happen. You might get really, really hungry and you just really need that $6 coffee. Always just have some on hand, and don't always go out to eat, which I know is super, super tempting because I did that all the time, but like just don't. Like it's also very, very overpriced on campus. Don't let anyone bully you into thinking you need to go out and drink every single day too. Lastly, my only remaining piece of advice is have fun. That is the cheesiest thing that I probably could have said. I said it in my last video and I'm gonna say it again. Relax, enjoy yourself, don't overthink. Do not overthink it. You're literally fine. You have so many chances to change your mind. You have so many chances to do something new. And you have plenty of people on this campus living like 20 feet away from you who are going through the exact same thing. Keep an open mind. Don't get discouraged. Don't overwork yourself. Enjoy yourself. And let it be. Let it be, let it play out. Enjoy your time here. That's all I have for you guys. Let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to message me. I love helping a fellow Tar Heel out. I'll see you guys later.